That's not how I usually... Oh, wait. Hey there! Today, I'm going to talk about this pen by Montegrappa. Montegrappa Italia, it says on one side, and on the other side it says Made in Italy. So I guess this is an Italian pen of some sort. Outer box, you open it up, out comes a very nice box. I'm not sure whether this is real leather, I'm guessing fake leather. Give it a smell. Well, not sure. Maybe it's suede of some kind. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I don't really care much for those boxes. All I can say is I think it looks pretty nice. It has Montegrappa on there, not in gilded letters, but in nice sort of cream-colored letters. So these two boxes, I like that. The outer box and the inner box are sort of negatives of each other. So this is cream with gray letters. This is gray with cream letters. Beautiful. Nicely done. You open it up, out comes a lot of stuff. You get the booklet. The booklet has the history of Montegrappa and filling instructions, and I thought it was actually pretty nice. It has some nice old illustrations in there. I thought it was well conceived. 2 pages immediately fell out when I opened the booklet. That's a little less impressive, but stuff happens. Other people have used this pen before me, maybe they did that. I'm not saying it was Montegrappa's fault or anything. Usually I throw those booklets, over my shoulder. I won't do it in this time. Then we have a little bag. These little Ziploc bags, you can buy them with interesting stuff inside in Amsterdam. Here, in this case, it has 2 cartridges, standard international cartridges, with the word Montegrappa on there in silver relief, which looks very fancy. And then we have the pen. The pen is held in place by a nice band, very securely. This is really nice, very soft. It all feels very, very nice. I like that. And then we have the pen. The pen comes in a number of colors. This is the Montegrappa Espressione. You can get it in a bunch of colors and finishes. Well, bunch is maybe a little exaggerated, but there are a few more colors. This is the blue. There was something on the box. Was it a specific blue? Espressione Fountain Pen M. Blue. No, it's just blue. But it's a gorgeous blue. I'll show you this with the writing sample later on. That's, that camera has a high resolution. It's a bit better. You can see it a bit better. But even here you can see the beautiful... Well, I guess you can call this marbling. It's a great effect. I really love it. I think it's a very pronounced, nice blue. Okay, I'll cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. But first I take a sip of tea. Alright, so, we start with the cap. On top of the cap is a type of diamond, sort of pyramid shape. It's in the same material as the cap and the barrel. Great, I love that. Same thing at the end of the barrel. There's this blue, again this blue sort of end thingy. I love it when manufacturers go through the trouble of actually how should I put that? Actually take the trouble to take the time, invest the effort, whatever, to make these type of diamonds that are actually the same material as the pen body. I think that looks very, very nice. I remember having some other pens in which they have a specific color and then at the top it's just black. I think that sort of detonates. It's not a huge thing, but I like what they did here. Interestingly, a very interesting thing is the 8-sided, the octagonal cap band right there. I mention that now because when you look at the top end of the cap, I'm not sure why you can see this, but there is this ring which is also octagonal in shape, so that's a motif that returns. Then it says here on the sort of ring that keeps the clip in place, Montegrappa in black. I like that. It's not extremely in your face. It's a bit more restrained. It doesn't immediately advertise the pen brand. Then we have the clip. The clip is fairly springy. And it has a wheel, useful for putting the pen in a coat pocket. This is not a coat pocket, and I'm not sure whether this will actually work. But just to give you an idea, it's very easy to slip on, and to slip off again because of that little wheel. I like that. What I also like is that you have this octagonal cap band. Then you have a little chrome ring right here and another one right there. This one is on the cap, this one is on the barrel. Gives her a nice balanced look. I like that. Barrel, no tapering, nothing, just an even barrel. Makes for a somewhat massive looking pen, but I like that. I think it looks good. Now you have another silver colored ring, and then we have these threads at the end of the barrel. When I unscrew the pen, I can post the cap, which is screwing it on there, and voila, the clip and the nib align, more or less. I don't think it's, well, yes, it is perfect. It's very well done. Okay, nicely executed. Right now, I don't think you can see it, but there's a desk light right there, and the cap is actually translucent, so I can actually look through it. The barrel, not so much. So that's an interesting touch. So when you do that, you have these nice two silver-colored rings there. You get the octagonal cap band, and here we have the barrel. The section. The section is just metal. I guess chrome, or whatever. It's chrome-colored metal. Here you have two very wide threads. I know this won't focus, but there are two very wide threads. Not a lot of threads. The good thing about that is that they are not particularly sharp, so you don't really feel that when you're writing. Come back to that in a second. Here we have the nib. I personally thought the nib was a little on the small side when you compare it to some other pens. Now, this is not entirely fair. This is a Montblanc 149. If you take a look at the size difference between these two nibs, I was expecting something bigger here. On the other hand, we shouldn't forget that the section actually ends fairly. It's a tapered section. If the nib would be bigger, I think it would look out of place. So it's not a bad thing. As I said, tapered but smooth. I don't find it slippery at all, so that's a good thing. I put in the converter that came with the pen, so not the cartridges. The converter says yeah, it does say Montegrappa, but I'm holding it upside down. That's why I had some trouble reading it. Just a standard converter, which actually screws in, so you can't accidentally pull it out. It's a screw-in converter type. I like that. I'm just trying to... No, I cannot take the converter apart. At least I don't seem to be able to. So for cleaning, you'll have to flush it out with a syringe or something like that. Okay. So as I said, nice this meander shape, which is one of the Montegrappa trademarks, I think. Looks pretty cool, that nice posting feature. Pretty cool pen. Okay, so what do I like? What do I not like? Well, I love the blue color of the pen. I think the blue, I already told you that, I think it's fantastic. I love the eye for detail. I mean, the screw-in cap thing for the posting. It's not that I've never seen this before, but thought went into it. The fact that the clip and the nib align perfectly well, I think that's very impressive. People thought about what they were doing. That little wheel at the end of the clip, again, that's not something that we've never seen before, but Montegrappa implemented it here in a very nice way, I think. Okay, so that's all very cool. Things I don't like. There are two basic things that I wasn't extremely impressed with. Is not the right word, because it's by no means a bad pen. Two things I didn't like that much. The first was that the nib, it's a steel nib, not gold. It has Montegrappa and M on there, and again that meander pattern is also on the clip band, the cap band. The nib I thought was a little bit dry. Probably something you can work on a little bit with a shim of some kind. But my biggest issue was that for a medium, I thought this was very fine. I'll show you that in the writing sample. The other thing that I found a bit of an issue, and that may be a very idiosyncratic thing, is that these threads, as I told you, they're very wide threads. They're not sharp at all. But I tend to hold my pen a little highly. And the problem with that is that ideally I would hold it like this. As you can see, the size of the pen, nothing there, no problems there. But the problem is my fingers are not so much on the threads. They're on the very end of the barrel. You see this step down here? You have the barrel and you have a sort of metal ring. No, I can't really show you that. There's a sort of metal ring, then you get the step down of the threads. Well, the problem is this metal ring has edges that are quite sharp. They won't make you bleed, but my finger is on there, and that's very annoying. So for me, the only option would be to hold it even higher, really on the barrel. So I would hold it like this, and then write. And then, with this posted, it actually works, and because it posts so securely, it's not really an issue. Or, the alternative would be to hold it as normal people would hold it, which is probably closer to the nib, and then it's no problem. So, this was just a little bit of nitpicking, but, you know, with a fairly expensive pen, I think you can. And are allowed to, actually. In all, I think it's a pretty nice pen. So, interesting. Peculiar that the nib was fairly fine. Maybe that's a Montegrappa thing. I don't know. That's all there's to it. So that's the pen. Very nice. I hope this was useful. I think we should do a writing sample next. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Montegrappa Espressione. Now, if I start to sing Eros Ramazzotti songs, the world is coming to an end. Montegrappa Espressione. Oh, I shouldn't have posted it. I'm hitting a part of my tripod. I'll take the cap off. Just to show you a bit more detail. Now look how nice that cap is with this octagonal cap band. The meander shapes on there. The little wheel on the clip. A lot of eye for detail here. It says Montegrappa there. So it's a pretty nice pen. But we were doing a writing sample. Montegrappa Espressione in M. So this was not the pen's fault, it was just me hitting the tripod. The ink is Waterman Tefcaf, the ink formerly known as Florida, now Serenité. It's interesting ink. It's a good ink, well behaved. So, a bit of writing. Now, the first thing I noticed when I wrote, first of all, it's pleasant. It's a pleasant pen to write with, I think. Has a bit of feedback, but it's not scratchy. But my first issue is the width of the nib. Is this a medium? This is no pressure. This is a vintage Montblanc 344 vintage. I don't know, those lines don't look any wider to me. I mean, any narrower, actually. That's a fine. And this is a medium. This is a serious nibbage broad. And this is a Montegrappa medium. I think it looks fairly flimsy. Now, to each his own. Some people, I mean, I think most people like fine nibs. I'm one of the few who prefers broad nibs. But it's not a bad thing, it's just that I expected a wider line. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so if you're looking for this, you like broads, then do get a broad. Don't medium will probably be a bit finer than you expect it to be. At least that was the case for me. Now enough bickering. Fast writing. Pen performs well, skips occasionally, but at such a high writing speed that's somewhat to be expected. The feed keeps up generally well with the writing, so that's clearly a good sign. Line variation, well, it's a steel nib, there is some. Sorry, the section unscrewed a little bit there. Speaking of unscrewing. Line variation. There is some, as you can see. It's not extremely pronounced, but hey, it's a steel nib. It's not bad for a steel nib, I think. What about wetness? Well, it may be a fairly fine nib, but it's also a fairly wet nib, and that's something I like. I enjoy that in a pen. Pretty wet. Okay, so that's good. You know, in all, I think it's a beautiful pen. I mean, look at this blue. Look at the way this works in the light. That's clearly very, very nice. So I love that. I'm not too sure about the nib width. I told you I had that issue with the sharp bit at the barrel. So that may be an issue. But in all, it's a pretty nice pen. And I love this screw-in posting system, which works very well. So, pretty nice pen. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.